Okay. You want to move on? I think
Yep.
we
All right,
discussed
so
this enough.
this one should be a pretty quick topic. This is basically just came up because recently I've been playing a lot of Street Fighter, and this is yet like another sport where Korea tends to be extremely good at is fighting games. So what I wanted to kind of was talk about was like basically what the reasons are for why Korea tends to be the best in the world at almost like any online game they play. So yeah, it's so I was looking this up earlier at what other people had to say, and there's a Reddit post where like a actual Korean person was like, these are like their thoughts on like sort of the reasons why he thinks that it's probably like that. The first one that he lists is like is literally the fact that they have really, really good internet across the entire company. Or
Yeah,
not
country. Yeah, like
it's really, really cheap.
Yeah, it's insane. Well, because again, we've often talked about how like South Korea is pretty small in comparison to like mainland or like U.S. mainland or whatever. So for them to set up high speed internet is so much easier for them. And they basically had a high speed internet infrastructure since like the 2000s, maybe like way before we ever did. Yeah, like their internet was ridiculously fast. Like even when everyone was still on like, I don't know, like DSL or whatever.
Yeah. So all right. So yeah, basically just having that, like, I feel like it definitely could be a huge boost there, because like you're much more encouraged to play online games. Like, for example, like where I live, I'm from a very rural area, so like my best friend, like up at his house, like the only time he can play online games with me is if nobody else is on the internet, because it's that slow.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Because he lives like up in the hills, so like there's like almost nothing. All he's got is the ISP is called like Frontier, I think. It's so slow.
Yeah, Frontier is.
You can't do anything. So like in Korea, like
it's a
if you
fitting
have like
name for an ISP like that.
Yeah, it's
like we only get internet to people out in the middle of nowhere. We're the Frontier.
Yeah, no, everyone calls it shit tier because nobody likes it. Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, I think just having access to internet like allows for online games, like even going back to like StarCraft and stuff like that, and different like RTSs.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can't talk about fighting games, but I can talk about StarCraft and Overwatch.
Yeah, because I mean, well, if you think about like the internet infrastructure definitely is what gave rise to like just gaming as like a like serious hobby. And also I feel like it's also because I don't think console gaming ever really took off in Korea.
No, I mean, it's all PC because
to the same extent
PC
that like
arcade.
it did. Yeah, it was almost always PC and arcade, because they like a lot of consoles like Wii U never got released in like friggin'
well, yeah, I mean,
Korea.
Most people don't even play games at home. Like they just go to PC bongs, because PC bongs have the highest
best internet
tier computers and internet, and then they don't have to buy their own computer. They can just spend tiny amounts of money to play all day.
Yeah, like like $10 play an hour or whatever.
Or no,
like
with some
really
games. With some games like League of Legends, if you go to a PC bong and you have
you get everything.
You don't have to pay. You don't have to like unlock champions, and sometimes you get like a special IP boost or whatever if you play at a PC bong that sort of has a deal or whatever. So yeah, it's basically like it's really interesting to see how like it never really took off there, or how the Korean sort of like competitive gaming scene is very PC centric, whereas everywhere else it was up until recently it was very just like console centric.
Yeah, it was like Call of Duty and Halo and fighting
at least
games.
in America. Yeah,
we're all in America at least.
But like I guess sort of to talk about like fighting games, it's very interesting to see how like fighting games became prominent in Korea, because again, with arcades, it mostly up until recently the FGC or like fighting games like Street Fighter, Tekken were mostly dominated by either like people from America,
or
people from Europe, or Japan or whatever. So it was. I feel like it wasn't really. I feel like I'm showing the video of Infiltration, like teaching the basic mechanics of Street Fighter on Korea Gaming. But yeah, I feel like it was Infiltration that sort of like created a like sort of like opened up the land of opportunity when it came to Korean like fighting game professionals. Because I feel like he helped put like Korea on the map when it came to like Street Fighter and like all their fighting games as well. Because fighting games are so popular in Korea now.
I think apparently Street Fighter is still sort of an underdog in comparison to like I think in Korea Tekken is the most popular.
Yeah, Tekken is like if you look at the last few Evos, for those that don't know, Evo is it's an open video game tournament that's open to like open registration. So that means you can get for fighting games specifically. So that means you can get like up to 2,000 registrants for like Street Fighter. You can get like professionals with people like me or whatever, and like it's pretty crazy. And you could, but yeah. So let me look it up. Like Evo 2017 results. I believe the top three for Tekken 7 were all Korean. Like that's how like that's how that's how crazy popular they are in the game, and that might have something to do with this might be going into like history, but the arcade sticks that they used in Korea are like the actual
American
joysticks.
style.
Yeah, they use American style, which have a circular gate instead of the octagonal or the square gates that they use in Japan.
Yep.
So yeah, it's a lot easier to play 3D fighting games with a circle gate as opposed to the other gates. So yeah, I feel
it's
like
a diamond in Japan, like a square that's just
yeah,
rotated over.
I don't use square gates because I don't play charge characters. So side note, yeah, but I use an octagonal gate. But yeah, it's interesting. It's to the point where like basically Korea has like their own like I think this in general like Korea is very much like their self-identity as Koreans is very important to them, and so like winning the Korean way or like every like right down to like every detail is so important, even when it comes to esports. So that like Korean players, they saw Infiltration's winning with this type of like fight stick, when even though everyone's winning with Sanwa like parts or whatever, like they're mass producing a fight stick specifically for like Korean or people who like the Korean style or whatever. It's so interesting to see like just like basically that Korean mentality again, which is I feel like that's kind of like the answer to like our question as to why they're so good at all these like esports or whatever. I feel like it's just that mentality that they're able to put into like even something like gaming, where they sort of like dedicate so much to it, like so much like all of this time and like effort and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, that was one of the other main reasons, is that they're very I guess like nationalistic, that this guy was talking about. Like, you know, like there's like the Overwatch World Cup, like basically like they're very populistic as well. Like they tend to be very similar and stuff. So they'll see like, oh, this is a Korean person, you know, and they're proud of that fact, and they'll try to be like that person who's
they take so
winning.
much pride in that.
Like the guy even mentions the fact that a lot of the players have basically like the same hairstyle. Like he even goes that far, which I don't know if I agree with that part, but like.
Right now I have a picture of Faker up, and like literally every League of Legends player, I swear, from Korea, I swear has the same like bowl cut with glasses or with glasses sort of look.
But yeah, on top of that, like it's sort of the Korean work ethic is sort of has into it, is that they're like, because they already have to do it for high school to get into a good school, they have to basically just grind down, study all day every day. You know, they already know how to do that. So like to, you know, sit down and then put all that work into a game that you enjoy, like I feel like that's something that sort of can come natural to somebody who's from Korea.
And I feel like
I was gonna say, like, based on what I know of at least StarCraft, like the reason they're so good is the dedication they put into it. They live in team houses. They literally play 12 to 16 hours a day with breaks to eat, sleep, and work out to keep their stamina up. And that's all they do. It's just like most other countries, their esports athletes aren't putting that much time in and that much dedication. That they're not living in a house with their team. They're not spending every waking moment like working.
Although a lot of them
better.
are now, I think. For,
that's
Overwatch.
Definitely picked up. For Overwatch League, because everyone has to live in LA now.
In LA,
so they just have like team apartments or whatever. Or like blocks of apartments. But yeah, it just, that's definitely picked up, and that picked up in StarCraft, like when StarCraft 2 was on around when I followed it, like a lot more like the foreign teams like were going to Korea to play in GSL, and they would follow that same like style of training to keep up with them.
Yeah, like it's another thing again with like I'm not so sure about other games, but like in fighting games, like you literally need to, just like real life fights, you need to train to fight somebody else, I guess. So like they're some of the people who are willing to sit in the actual like training room mode and like practice the combos for hours
like,
and
hit
stuff like that,
confirms like over and over again.
yeah, like you're literally like doing like drills and stuff to get good, like, and whereas like most people, they literally just like, you know, play games and stuff. So
and
yeah, I mean, it's I just find it incredible. Like I am somebody who sort of has like a short attention span, so I always get like bored really quickly in the training room. So like I guess we'll see how that goes, because I really need to learn how to like chain combos and stuff.
I know, like if I wanted to, at one point in my life, I was just like, I want to be a professional game like person or whatever. I'm just like, yeah, no, I don't have the patience for that, and I tilt way too easily. So
yeah,
no,
too.
yeah, basically, it's a crazy like work ethic that they have when it comes to that sort of thing. Like not just with fighting games or whatever, but yeah, with like anything.
Yeah,
with,
I mean, in particular,
esports.
MOBAs and Overwatch being the exception to shooters, I'd say.
Yeah, like they're crazy, like dedicated to all like these games, and like it's a point of pride almost to like that. If a new like esports sort of like takes the forefront, like that Korea wants to be like the end all be all of it, and then like that's why like even in games that they're not really good at, like, or they're not, Koreans aren't necessarily like known for being good at like CS:GO or Dota, like they're trying, like they send teams to the international and to majors all the time, like just because like, and they're getting better. Like it's crazy because like usually because these games are dominated by other regions, but yeah, like the Koreans are still dedicated to it. So
I think it also comes down to where like each person sort of feels like as if they're you know, sort of like representing their country. Because they're sort of like a top 20 nation, but I think they still feel like they're you know, back where they were like before the Korean War, like very like, you know, third worldish, and because like, you know, there's still people alive who remember that, and I think, you know, they still feel like that they have more to show the world. So like in whatever they do, they put in the work to, you know, show that Korea is great, and you know, they have these great people there.
And again, they with the infrastructure, basically, Korea basically invented esports in a way where, like, before you could think of like conventional esports, they were doing like GSLs on the freaking beach or whatever, like in front of like 100 sorts of thousands of people. Yeah, like there's like they sort of like their infrastructure for like competitive gaming has been around so long that it's not to the whereas here in America, it's still sort of like up until I believe like 2012 or 2013
wasn't really taken seriously until recently.
It wasn't taken seriously, and it wasn't until Riot Games, the developer of League of Legends, pushed to get like athlete visas for all of the players that were like from Korea and China that were playing in North America, so that they can like stay here long term. So yeah, it wasn't until like a couple of years ago that like the esports athletes could be like get special visas in the United States, which is insane. So like whereas in Korea, like they're not gonna second guess you if you're saying like, oh, you play like professional games for like a living. They're not gonna like look at you. I mean, they might look at you weird because like maybe like, hey, why aren't you a doctor or whatever? But like it's taken more seriously as a profession than it is really, I think, anywhere else. Like because I mean even places like Europe where they have like serious like Counter-Strike or whatever, like it's still sort of seen as like not a genuine not a genuine source of income, because I mean really realistically you can think about it.
I think it might be just similar to like here, like people being professional athletes, like you tell someone like, hey, I'm a professional athlete, like they might not believe you at first. Like even if you look the part, like you'd be like, I play for this team.
It's like, I'm 6'4" and I play for the Lakers or something like that. Not too many people are gonna believe you.
Like if they don't know like a lot about basketball or whatever sport you play,
it is, and that's why like Korea is basically like the model, and for like pretty much everywhere else when it comes to esports. So, not just when it comes to like the results or whatever, but like when it comes to like strategies or whatever. Like trying to play the Korean style is such a it's hard for a lot of Western or a lot of people that aren't Korean to do it, because like everyone just like you go insane, and like it's not perfect. It's not perfect because like there are a lot of times when basically like they go insane because of, I don't know, like netizens or whatever, because again we've talked about like how crazy insulting people are when it comes to like anything with esports. Like if Faker messes up, it's like, oh, you're trash or whatever. Even though like Faker is literally
the best in the
god
world.
of League of Legends. Like they're very relentless or whatever. And there's a lot of burnout when it comes to like esports or whatever. And like yeah, that's why the average age of an esport athlete is probably, or like anybody in competitive gaming is probably like anywhere from like 17 to like 23, and like pretty much like my age, I'm pushing it right now. If I ever wanted to go into competitive gaming, like I'd be pushing it, because again, there's so many people like my age that are so burnt out of just playing like all this sort of, and ultimately it's not like you can't be in your, I don't think you can be in your 30s or 40s and still.
No, I mean even at 23, your reaction speed's starting to get worse.
Yeah,
so like you're just at a physical disadvantage, even though it doesn't seem like it's much. Like it adds up when you're at that high level of a play.
Yeah,
so,
I mean,
like,
yeah, because you'd see, like even in StarCraft or whatever, like you'd see like all of the older guard, like the guys that are the guys that really like made their name in Brood War. Like they're sort of, they can't really keep up, or when StarCraft 2 came out, they couldn't necessarily, besides being a different game, but yeah, they couldn't necessarily keep up with like all these new people that started coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah, like StarCraft, your skills transfer from StarCraft 1 to StarCraft 2, but yeah, Boxer couldn't keep up, and he was the best player in the world for years in Brood War. But yeah, he was like 35 when that was happening, when StarCraft 2 was getting big. Yeah, he couldn't keep up with everyone, all the 17-year-olds that were playing, because they're just reaction speeds faster.
Yep. Yeah.
But it's interesting to see, or to think of what the future is when it comes to like esport, or not just, especially like fighting games in Korea or whatever, to see if there's sort of like a Korean renaissance when it comes to this sort of like genre or whatever. Because yeah, I feel like with Infiltration's doing well, and I feel like he's sort of like nurturing that next generation.
I think he has a lot of. I think the FGC has a lot of potential, because I think, hasn't it been growing like a lot in the past few years?
Yeah, it grew so much. Like it feels like, yeah, again.
Although like it's still small though, because like Street Fighter 5, I think only has about like 1,000 to 2,000 concurrent players at any given time, but still, like it's not tiny, I guess. But yeah, it's I definitely want to keep seeing it grow, because I want to get on it as well. So yeah,
and another thing that sort of ties into like Korean identity and like sort of what makes them proud to like, or what makes them want to like, or attract to certain games, is when games include Korean characters. Like you have Ari in League of Legends, you have Diva in Overwatch, you have Jury in Street Fighter. Like they know their like the people that develop these games, even if they're like Western developers, like with Riot, or if they're Japanese developers, like with Capcom or Namco. Like, because yeah, like Hwarang in Tekken is also a Korean character. Like they almost like Infiltration is known, or if he has a chance to play Jerry, he will play it, because like that's how important the characters are to them. Like Faker is like, his Ari is like legendary, because again, it's so fitting, or like they take pride in like they're doing well with like these characters that are inspired by either Korean culture, or like they're representatives of Koreans and like all these sort of like various fantasy games or whatever. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. Like even if it's not good, like even if it's like not meta, they will they will find a way to make any Korean character like good in the game. Like that's how dedicated they are.
Like I'm pretty sure Jury is like 40 or like 29th on the tier list. Yeah,
Jury's trash right now. But
so I mean, I like playing as her a lot personally, because I like her dashes and stuff like that. But again, that's a little off topic. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about, just because like I was watching a lot of like Street Fighter clips, and Infiltration kept showing up all the time, so
if I ever
sort of reminded me of that.
Well, I mean, technically speaking, I've seen Infiltration, but if I ever had a chance to talk to Infiltration, oh my god, I'd be like, teach me your ways. Like, there's like, it's a kind of a joke. They call him Infiltration Oppa for a reason. Like, he's so like highly respected in like the Street Fighter community, and he's a pretty funny guy. Like, I mean, he like after he won Evo, he was just like download complete because he downloaded his opponent. But I mean, he's a pretty chill dude. So yeah, he's definitely the best representative of Korea in like the burgeoning fighting game community there.
Yeah. But yeah, so I guess that's basically all we have for this week. So thanks for tuning in, and yeah.
Yep.
Do we have anything coming up? Oh, well, I mean, Nate, are you gonna do anything for Red Velvet or?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I'll film stuff to make a vlog. I'll probably put videos up on Twitter, like as the concert's happening or right after. But I don't know if I'll film like everything and make a vlog or anything.
Yeah.
But I do want to unbox Marmello, Twice, and Stray Kids. So I'll eventually, hopefully, get around to doing those.
And speaking of albums, I guess we could just say it now or for whatever. But congratulations to Victoria for actually for winning the Andrew Audio Sucks. So here's a free album contest. She was the first person to successfully add up all of my review scores, even though I had robot audio. So I'll be sending her an album soon, and we might end up running into her at KCON or Monster X or something like that. So that might happen. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
Nice. All right. So thank you and goodbye.
Annyeong.
Adapt.
Throbbingly adapt. They throbbingly creamy.
Adapt or die. That's the Street Fighter motto.
Yep.
This is like a sensual, sexy 90s guy group song is what
I
this
thought it was
sounds like.
awesome.
But I love it. Exactly. Like, the rap parts kind of bring it a little back into Monster X territory. They're more modern, like, hype stuff. But they still fit within the song. And yeah, like, the main song itself sounds like something like